Aquarius, hello. Welcome to Coffee, Sage, and Tarot. This is going to be your monthly reading for December 2025. I can't believe we're here already. Every time I say it, it's insane. If you are interested in a 2026 overview, it's about an hour to an hour and a half session. Shoot me an email, steprightin@gmail.com. It's in the description as well, and we can make that happen for you. Okay, I do have limited spots available, and that's just if you want to see a snapshot of what 2026 has in store for you. Okay, the cards have been pre-shuffled. As you know, this is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and just use your best judgment. Okay, if you feel like the energies need to be reversed, then do so. You know the drill. Okay, let's go ahead and see. I can't remember if I said all the cards were pre-shuffled, but they are. Challenges, 10 of Cups. Opportunities, the Chariot. Release, 8 of Swords. I like that. And embrace, the Emperor. And then we do have that King of Wands as the shadow energy there for you, Aquarius. Okay, so in terms of challenges, perhaps finding your happy ending, navigating that, allowing yourself to enjoy that 10 of Cups, right? Allowing yourself to enjoy celebrations. December, there's a lot of family time, right? And you know, sometimes there's expectations of we should be enjoying this time with our family. We should be. And perhaps you're finding that difficult this season, right? Or even just difficult pulling yourself away from work or life or, thinking, right? To be in that moment and truly celebrate with your loved ones. Okay. The opportunity here, Chariot. Consistency, right? Perhaps even getting back on a plan, doing what you need to do for you, right? You being the driving force behind your decisions, your actions here. Aquarius, I feel like that you're no stranger to that. So I'll be curious to see how that is clarified for you. 8 of Swords. I like this a lot, actually, in terms of what you should be releasing. Overthinking. And I feel like that does go hand in hand with the challenge of how do we enjoy this? Allowing yourself to enjoy, right? And really just taking off that, almost like taking the blinders off and opening your eyes and enjoying where you stand currently, right? Being in the moment just a little bit more. And in terms of what you should be embracing, that Emperor energy. So definitely some masculine energies that we have in terms of the opportunity and what you should be embracing here. So I'll be interested to see how that clarifies. Taking charge of something, perhaps going into more of a leadership role for you instead of kind of taking the back seat or just observing everyone. Perhaps it's time for you to be the one that's being observed, right? And that shift might be a little bit different, a little bit more exposed or exposure for you. And just kind of wrapping your head around that, Aquarius. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what that 10 of Cups energy is all about. Show me that 10 of Cups as the challenge for Aquarius in December, please. Thank you. Interesting. You just flopped out there like no problem. You're like, yep, I don't know. I'm uncomfortable. I don't like it. Oh, all right. Let's get some clarifiers for that Chariot, please, for Aquarius in terms of the opportunities available to them. Let's get one more card to clarify, please. Thank you. Okay. Let's go ahead and see that 8 of Swords as what Aquarius should be releasing. Show me that 8 of Swords as what Aquarius should be releasing. Thank you. And show me that Emperor as what Aquarius should be embracing? Show me one more card to clarify that Emperor energy. That's more than one. Oh, we can do that actually. Huh. Interesting. Okay. We're just going to move these up a little bit. And all right. Jumping right in here. You can see them if I hold them. So we'll just go ahead and do that. So for the 10 of Cups here, we have you, the Star, in reverse. We have that 3 of Wands and that Hanged Man. So yeah, this does feel like, definitely, like I said, you're uncomfortable here. Nevertheless, you're here putting in effort, even if it's not entirely to your comfort. You're open to being here, right? So it does feel like, it's so funny. It does feel like the challenge for you is the festivities that December brings, that time with family and friends, that time with your loved ones. Taking this time to be a little bit more social maybe than you're used to. And just kind of interacting in a different capacity than what, than what you normally do, right? You kind of have to go, I'm not saying you don't have to go with the crowd, but you kind of, it's just a lot of social, utilizing your social battery a little bit more. And it feels like, yeah, we're here. We know we need to do this. We're having a little bit of, we're kind of putting ourselves out there a little bit, not necessarily wanting to do it, but knowing that we're doing it, right? So kind of like a resignation to the holiday season. That's funny. Okay, for that Chariot energy, in terms of the opportunities, what's the challenge? The holidays. That's like what it is. That's funny. Okay, so the Chariot, to describe the opportunities here, we have that 5 of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and that Queen of Pentacles here. Yeah. Okay. So this kind of feels like, looking at the cup half empty and really working hard to combat that perspective, right? Instead of looking at how little time we have in a day, we're trying really hard to embrace the time we're given in the day and what we can do with the limited time that we have, right? That kind of aspect where then almost it feels like you're trying to change something about yourself here. And it, with that Chariot, that is nice in terms of making long-term changes, because that Chariot is driven by yourself, right? You might not be thriving, you might not be super successful at the beginning of these changes, right? But slow and steady wins the race. You're in this, whatever this kind of period of change, you're in that for the long haul. There's a commitment level that, the Chariot shows some level of commitment, devotion to the cause here. And that's what I'm seeing here for you. And that Knight of Wands is bringing in that Queen of Pentacles to this 5 of Cups, as if to say, okay, we know that this might not be the best feeling here, and we're going to treat this with the weight that it deserves and understand that there's so much more than there's so much more than we realize when we're looking at a glass half full. There's so much more there, right? And so that's really nice to see. It's this opportunity that you're kind of creating for yourself, Aquarius, in terms of you're doing the work. This is completely motivated by you, which again, you're no stranger to doing that for yourself, but it does feel positive and it feels like you're doing it the right way, right? Whatever you're doing, it feels very healthy and consistent, and it feels like you're trying to make lasting change, right? For that Eight of Swords here, we have that clarified by the King of Wands, Page of Cups, and the Five of Swords. So this feels like this, right? And kind of, this feels like this magnified. So in those moments where we have, and you know, where we have a lot of deadlines and all of those deadlines are coming in quickly and really kind of compounding each other, and there's a lot of deadlines in very little time. This feels like that kind of energy, just, or that Five of Cups energy, very magnified, and this is an opportunity to release it, and you're working, this is an opportunity to release this, and that's what you're working towards, is kind of what I'm seeing here for you. That King of Wands, you're directing your energy differently, right? With that Knight of Wands coming through, you're changing your king. You're changing the way that you've relied on to direct your energy, and like in the past, and really trying to combat that with this Page of Cups, Five of Swords, right? So there's perhaps some tension here, or there has been some tension. There's some conflict, right? And some discrepancy between how you want to feel and how you're feeling, and when that lack of time starts feeling, when you start feeling that pressure, perhaps panic kind of kicks in. But again, that it feels like you recognize very much that this is an opportunity to change that feeling, and that's what you're doing. And again, it doesn't feel like you're thriving in that by any means, but you're seeing different ways that your behavior around this, or your attitude, your mindset is changing, right? And yeah, that's really what this feels like here, especially with this six. Yeah, with the Six of Pentacles in the shadow, and then the King of Swords, the World, right? Changing what you give your energy to, changing what you pay attention to, and as well with the holidays there, and with December, with the end of the year in general, right? Holidays outside of it, a lot of people reflect on the year. They take a look, even just business year end, right? Take a look at what was successful, what wasn't successful, what do we need to do? Like it's very much, we're reviewing what works and what doesn't, and what you should be giving your energy to next year, and what deserves a little bit less of your time. And so this Six of Pentacles does make sense for you, Aquarius. Kind of in that way, from like business perspective, right? Or school perspective, right? Take it as it resonates for you, but also in this idea of how are you going to maneuver, and what are you going to give to yourself and give to others going forward? How are you going to show up, right? And that's what I feel like we're making meaningful change on, because we want to close the major loop here, right? And so you're really giving this a shot. You're uncomfortable, but you're doing it, right? Because it's important for you. This is a priority, right? Coming over to the Emperor here, we have that Ten of Swords, Strength, Ace of Cups, and the Devil. So this is interesting. Immediately when I saw this come up, well, first of all, I was like, oh, too many cards, but it feels like this could be taken a couple of different ways, but what this feels like to me is residual panic and anxiety. I don't want to dive into that cup because of X. I don't want to explore my feelings on this because it's not worth it. It's not important. I have other things to do, right? And almost it feels like it's calling attention to some fear surrounding this. And so I don't feel like whatever this Ace of Cups is, it doesn't feel like there's any ill intent there, because you have to remember Ace of Cups the aces are neither good nor bad. It's how we interpret them, right? That makes the difference. And it feels like, Aquarius, this Ace of Cups, because we're so uncomfortable in whatever this feels wrong. And it feels like part of what you're trying to address here is why that feels wrong. And have some confrontation, gentle confrontation, or maybe firm confrontation with yourself as it relates to that. Right? Coming back into the actual, like, clarifying this now, that Emperor here with that Ten of Swords, Strength, Ace of Cups, and the Devil. I'm wondering if this is society's expectations of you. Or your expectations of you in society. And this idea of the Emperor can't be vulnerable. And so that Ace of Cups is a potential vulnerability for you, Aquarius. And so I think what we're embracing here, and it's kind of a weird way to say it, but it feels like what we're embracing is that realization with that 10, that ending there, that, and again with this loop closing, that we have to, or we should at least try to understand why we think vulnerability or feelings or whatever it is as it relates to this dynamic is bad. And almost come to terms with what it is we feel is a vulnerability, why we feel it's a vulnerability, how can we move forward knowing, or can we move forward in a way that acknowledges that vulnerability and turns it into a strength that we can then rely on in our, in the way that we present to society, right? Or in our leadership role. So it's interesting here. It's masculine energy, right? With a feminine touch here. And it's interesting because this Five of Cups is being guided, right? That ego-based drive that is the Chariot. You're combating this Five of Cups energy with that Queen of Pentacles, right? With kind of a soft guidance, a soft inner knowing of, or reassurance of, yes, I'm doing the right thing. Yes, it's good. Yes, I'm yes, I'm focusing on what's important here. I'm choosing to see the good in every day. I'm choosing to see the good in myself every day. I know that what I have built for myself is enough, right? And even with this King of Wands, he's in the reverse, right? So it's interesting how everything is presenting here for you, Aquarius. But it's kind of this idea that something needs to come to an end. And it feels like, again, it's just another layer of acknowledgement, of confirmation that, yes, we're doing this. And yes, we will get the hang of this. This idea of something about me needs to change. And having the courage to address that. And it does feel like it is tied to some aspect of vulnerability for you, Aquarius, okay? And even just coming head to head with why that feels wrong, okay? Let's go ahead and get some final thoughts here for you. All right, in the shadow here, we have that Knight of Swords, the Fool, and that Eight of Swords, Nine of Cups, Strength, Chariot. Again, yeah, kind of acknowledging here. Honestly, it feels like acknowledging your journey, acknowledging what you've been through here, and really just opening the door to giving yourself a little bit more wiggle room, if that makes sense. Okay. King of Wands, to finalize challenges here. He's popped into the picture now. Knight of Wands, King of Cups. See, that's funny. In here, that Knight of Swords, right, is driving or bringing to you that King of Cups. That emotional accountability, that emotional awareness, that emotional intelligence, right? And it feels like we're kind of doing that in this shadow as well. So with this King of Wands here, it does feel like there's some, you have a general understanding that certain things that you think or certain habits need to change, and you are changing them, right? And you're getting to a place where perhaps you're leading or you're directing your energy by more of an emotional component, or the fire and the water are working together a little bit more. You're not so fired up. The emotions are coming into play as well, and allowing perhaps a little bit more vulnerability into your life. Okay. That Three of Cups here with that Chariot. Celebrate your wins, man. Celebrate yourself. Allow yourself to feel that. It's funny because here the challenge is the Ten of Cups. The opportunity, it's like it's almost like these little wins bring you that joy, that consistency brings you that feeling of happiness, right? And in consistently doing the steps, that's where you find your happy place. So just keep doing that and keep enjoying that feeling, keep enjoying that ride, literally. Six of Wands here. I'm wondering if you're gonna do something or kind of be a little bit like the life of the party in some aspect in December here, and that's, you know, perhaps a new role for you, Aquarius. But it seems like whatever you're doing is working, and how you start December will not be how you end December, meaning that whatever this work is that you're doing is going to become a lot smoother for you. Wheel of Fortune, in terms of what you should be embracing, yeah, change, right? We're closing one loop, opening another, and perhaps, you know, with that Wheel of Fortune, Spirit is going to come through and help you a little bit, right? Open your eyes a little bit more, or just make life a little bit easier so that we can implement these changes that you're trying to make. Okay. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything else here for you. Anything else for Aquarius, please? Think first before you judge. Swim away from this situation. Interesting. Yeah. And it does feel like you're doing that, right? You've acknowledged that there's some aspect of you that no longer works for you. And so you're moving away from it. You're navigating away from it. And perhaps somebody with that Six of Wands energy, it could be, somebody actually calls attention to this, in a positive way, right? Oh, wow, Aquarius, I wouldn't think I'd see you here, or something, right? That really just feels good, because it's meaningful, and it brings attention to what you've been working on, right? Anything else here for Aquarius? Confidence. It comes with time and practice. For some of you, it could be that, you know what I mean? Finding your confidence again as it relates to whatever this Five of Cups situation is, right? Perhaps that's something that was lost for whatever reason. And so you're really working on bringing it back. And, there will be, it seems, some small ways that the universe will acknowledge that through other people and through, through interaction with other people in this month. And, maybe that's what you need, right? In order to keep moving forward. Anything else for Aquarius? It doesn't feel like there is. It feels like we got the full message, but make the change. Yeah, Libra got that as well. I'll be curious to see if Gemini gets that too, right? This idea here of, make the change. Make the change for yourself. You're doing it. Just keep going. Keep going. Aquarius, you look really good, you make me laugh. You really do. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really, really appreciate it. And know that I'm with you always. I wish you all the best this month and always. And we'll see you next time. You take care.